Hi, y'all. I'm laughing because y'all already know how it's about to go down. Feeling hopeful. Life has hope. I'm doing well considering. I just wanted to check in and say hi. Was extremely bored, and instead of like discussing stuff with myself in my head, I thought I'd hop on live and do a vlog about nothing. I'm really just checking in with you all because I was taking a social media break. I always say that, but I do come back and like just check on y'all, post something, like, comment, share, support, follow, all the things that come with social media. So yeah, it's like what? It's like 10 or maybe a little after 10 o'clock at night, and I have a little extra free time amongst all the things I'm doing. I'm trying not to work. Y'all know I talk about this all the time. I don't want to overwork myself and be like drained or overwhelmed or overbooked or burnt out. So I've been practicing self care. I don't know why this keeps glitching, but I've been practicing self care, and I do that by writing, journaling, writing music. That's been fun. Spending time with my family and hanging out with my significant others. Spending time with myself, spending time with Shadow. I've been reading. I finally got some reading done. So that's exciting. I want to do some more reading, but I can't read the stuff that I want to read right now because I'm in a training class, and so I have to focus on that, and it's very time consuming and energy demanding and focus demanding. So I'm just, when I do everything that I have to do for priorities, we got to prioritize, choosing our battles. And prioritizing can look like things that I do tomorrow, you need to do tonight, and things that need to be done 2 or 3 days from now, you do that maybe in 2 or 3 days. Because, everything has its time. Some things can wait, and we have to acknowledge and recognize, like, what can wait, what can't wait, what can prioritizing. So yeah, I might not keep this video up. It's not really about nothing but just to check in and to say what's up with y'all and let y'all know how I was doing. I went to the emergency room Sunday, Saturday night, Sunday, because my back was out, and it was out from like the 4th of July. Well, that the next day, all the way up until yesterday. And that was kind of annoying because I couldn't move around. I couldn't clean. I couldn't cook. And I couldn't like spend time with people that I really wanted to spend time with because my back was out. Yeah. So I mentioned I've been taking a training, and another thing that I've been doing has been like not isolating, but removing myself from certain situationships, relationships, and I should say situationships, not really relationships, but removing myself, because the reason why I used the word relationship originally was because, you know, I can't, the people who I'm dealing with, family, friends, intimate, otherwise, they have, like, everybody wants to come to me and be like, oh, help me, help me, help me. Or I need help, talk to me. And I don't feel good. And all that's great. Like, I love when people feel like they can come to me to talk about stuff in a non judgmental way, or give people the free space and time and dignity to express themselves, whatever that may look like. They could be venting about some drama, they could be asking for advice if they ask for the advice. They could just be wanting to see how I'm doing too. However, it was just a theme that, like, I said this before, like, people come to me with their problems outside of my volunteer, outside of my work, outside of the things I do in my free time. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not a licensed counselor. I just have lived experience with stress and being overwhelmed and with trauma. And I'm trauma informed, and I try to be sensitive to people's feelings, but sometimes I'm such a people pleaser that I forget I need to check in with myself. Hi, Dad. My daddy's here. So, sometimes I have to take that time to, like, because most of the time when I try to, like, well, I could be going through something. I may not call nobody. I mean, like, isolate, for example. And I won't call nobody, but then people call me. And I'm going through something, but I'll still answer the phone and kind of, like, my own, disregard my own stuff to listen to this person dump all this stuff on me. And then I have no way to get the stuff off. Like, I have nobody I could go and vent to in the way that I would like. Like, I wonder if some of my peers and colleagues who identify as, you know, having mental health or in recovery, I wonder if they go through this. Like, do y'all ever feel like you have to pick and choose what problems or what situations you address with certain people? So you could be going through five things, and three of those things you could talk about, two of those things you probably don't want to or you can't talk about. And then you have to, like, okay, so with this situation, I'm going to talk to person A about. So it's like you got to pick what you talk to, what you talk about to who. And then it becomes just like, because it's like, no matter how much we care about people and how much people care about us, everybody, we're all living in this same life journey. And some people are not equipped to hear certain parts of what you're going through. They may judge you, or they may laugh at you, or go tell somebody else, or try to ridicule you, or make you feel small about what you're going through, or use it as, like, say for example, you could ask somebody for some help with something, and then they will act like, oh yeah, I want to help you, I want to help you. Either A, they don't help you, or two, when they do help you, they get mad a week later and want to throw it in your face, like, well, I did all this for you, and and no. So dealing with this stuff is heavy, but, like, I feel like, I think the best way for me to balance this stuff and manage this type of energy is just to be creative and do, like, some art, or work on a song or a poem or work on my book or just stay creative functioningly. Maybe do a puzzle or like sometimes I get bored and I go and design the Amron website just because I'm bored. But I didn't want to sit in my room like just thinking to myself. And I'm a talker, I'm a communicator. I love to talk, I love to converse, and I love to explore ideas, and I enjoy debating opinions with with people and learning in a social environment. That's a good way to put it. I enjoy learning in a social environment. Like some people, I'm starting to notice that they're not mature enough to have intellectual debates about anything. Like I try not to talk about religion in a social, like in a casual setting. Try not to talk about religion and politics in a casual setting because those two topics tend to get very heated. And even parenting is one of those things that's like not as a parent or as a parent. Some people, they, say for example you go to a family cookout and everybody's there, they got their children, and then somebody's like, oh, y'all know I always gotta tell a story. So like say for example you at the cookout and then they be like, oh, that baby's too old to still be in diapers, or that child's too old to be drinking out of a bottle still, and I don't know what she's doing with him, or I don't know what they're doing with him, but they need to teach him this, and she needs to be a better parent and stuff like that. So some people, like, parenting is a very touchy subject, like politics and religion, because people can, I mean, I've been around mature parents, but I remember, I have some memories and experiences where people would sit there and dog somebody's parenting skills. It's like everyone's parenting skills are different, just respect it. And you shouldn't have, nothing to say about that, really. It doesn't affect you. It's not your kid, you know, but people do. And also, I'm working on the Dating with the Diagnosis project. I'm very excited about it because it's in its first stages, and I feel like this is something that I can look forward to, and that y'all can look forward to as well and participate in if you want. You don't have to. I told y'all are like my little guinea pigs. Y'all are my close friends, family, and peers, and some followers that are kind of like not related to me or anything, but they're just supporters on my page, my profile. And some of y'all like to see when I come on here and talk to you about stuff and share stuff, and I enjoy it too. So yeah, been dissociating a lot lately, like dissociating, like staring off into space, losing focus on whatever's going on and going somewhere else, like traveling somewhere else in my mind into deep thought, staring into the abyss. I just didn't want to do that tonight. I was just like, no, I'm not gonna work myself to death is what we're not gonna do. Another thing we're not gonna do is sit here to think ourselves to death. And thirdly, we're not going to pass up time doing nothing when I could either be vlogging or writing, and I don't want to feel like writing because that's like work. So this is cool. I wanted to do some card readings, but I didn't feel like getting on that channel that I do my readings on. I kind of been laying low from that app lately. Like, it's just so like it was fun the first 2 years that I did the tarot card readings on there, and I got a lot of support and stuff, but it seems like everybody's just trying to get money off of streaming and doing social media. Welcome, viewer. And I'm not doing this for money or exposure. I'm literally doing this stuff to entertain myself so that I don't go nuts. So whether y'all watch this or not, I usually come back and watch it myself. I should add y'all to a watch party. Hi, Auntie Nancy. My family's here. Yay! It's getting so late. I mean, in mature. I'm not gonna say old or older. Like it's kind of late. Like it's Wednesday and it's like 10 p.m. And usually, cause I have class. If I have class, I'm usually in bed by this time. Like sleep, 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 sleep. But I kind of wanted somebody special to talk to. But I kind of talked to everybody already today. And I had an incident. Oh, and I got something else to tell y'all. But before we get there, so I kind of had an incident in class today. But I can't go too in depth with it because the classes has privacy and confidential stuff. But so basically, I spoke to a couple people about it just to just get it off my chest. It was no malice. Like, there was no malice, there's no hard feelings. This happens a lot when I go into trainings and classes and courses that I take. I'm verbally combative, and that's how someone else would define it. Somebody else would say, "Oh, verbally combative," but I'm not combative when I'm learning. I'm trying to learn. So, I may ask a question pertaining to something I do not understand. And if I don't understand it, I'm going to ask you again. If I don't get it after the second time, I just let it go. However, I have a history of like I want to know why this. For example, you're taking a class, you're in a course, you're in school, you know. I want to know, why are you teaching us this that way? Or why are you teaching us this? Is this going to be on the exam? Is there a particular part of this that I'm supposed to take notes on? Other questions I ask, like, is there a reason why you're teaching this lesson the way you're teaching it? Has it been effective in the past? Do you recognize it may not be as effective as you think you're teaching it, but it may not be as effective as you think it was? So I think sometimes teachers and instructors and professors, or whatever you want to call them, they get kind of agitated with me, um because I'm like always raising my hand and asking these questions, but that's because I need clarification so I can know what I'm learning and that I can get the gist of it and absorb it in the way. Hello, viewer. So so the surprise that I wanted to tell y'all about, it's it's awful. It's terrible. I I re I reopened I reopened my Instagram account. Woo, buddy. I haven't been on my Instagram account since 2014, 15. And it still was up there. So I was like, let me see if I can get into the account. So I got in. There's mad old pictures up there. Mad old pictures. I mean, like, there was pictures up there of, like, my heydays. I guess I can call that now. Like, my heydays. It was like pictures of bottles I used to drink. I'm talking about turn up, turn up, turn up. Like, it was nothing but bottles. I may have had some like blunts, rolled blunts on there, and the pictures were fine. Like, it wasn't nothing raunchy. Like, y'all know me. But the pictures weren't raunchy or anything. But there was pictures of like liquor and wines and stuff that I used to drink back in the day and before I was like active in my recovery. And some pictures with friends turning up and stuff. Some of them I deleted because not because I'm ashamed, but I deleted because I don't want people to get the wrong idea of who I am now and who I plan to become, which is myself. But I mean, like, when we grow, we become bigger parts of ourselves when we grow. Because some people don't grow, some people digress, and I digress. But um, when you grow, you become a better part of yourself, or you should. Some people are too nice, and they become a better person by being a little a hole once in a while. Or sometimes people are too mean, and they grow by being more nice. So it looks different for everybody. You can't say that when somebody's like, think about the person who is always like, I call it uptight, or another way I say is like taking themselves too serious. Like, I try not to take myself too serious. Like, I can have all these titles, or we can have all these titles, we can have all these accolades and things like that, but we can't forget that without those things, we are something else. And it may not be like what we could imagine ourselves to be like, oh, if I didn't have my achievements, then I'd probably be a hood rat. I'd probably be considered a hood rat if I didn't take the time to do self discovery and self reflection, self support, and reach out. Like, I'm still a work in progress. I say this all the time. But one thing I want y'all to look forward to is like, so basically that's why I took those pictures down from my back is still a little but basically that's why I took those pictures down, is because I want the friends that I have on there from back in the day, I want them to see like I'm not that same friend anymore. Like, I'm not that same person. Not like that. Like, there's parts of me that's still rooted in my background, my upbringing, and my personal generational culture. Um, but there's a lot of things that are new about me and exciting and that are positive things. And we always talk about how, oh, when you change up, people like to bring up the old you. And that's fine. You can bring up the old me all you want. But don't do it in any malice, like, not speaking for me, but just speaking for other, like, in general. Like, if you see somebody, they used to be hitting the club and drinking and smoking weed, and they were in the party scene, and they was always clubbing and out dancing and running the streets. That's what I call it. So you're out there running the streets and stuff, and now all of a sudden, maybe you go to church, maybe you found a career that you like, and that you're good at, and you're a professional now, and or you have children. That changes a lot of people's lives and their perspective on the world and their perspective on themselves. So when that happens, I know this is probably like a boring chat, you guys, but I'm not bored anymore. So people like to bring up, oh yeah, before she had her kids, she was running streets and she used to wear this and look like that and dress like that, and now she thinks she's all that because she's a mom. She thinks that she's a goody good choo choo, but we didn't forget who she was or who they were back in the day, like all the stuff they said they did, or things that happened, or the things that they were involved in, and all this other stuff. And it's like, you don't necessarily have to let that go as being the person that's probably being judged. You don't have to let those old parts of you go. Recognize those parts of you happen because you had to grow from them, and you wouldn't be who you are or where you are in life now if you did not go through those toxic experiences or those unhealthy behaviors or those vicious patterns and cycles of being toxic. Like, You know how sometimes people say, "Hi, viewer." I think that was Crystal. I saw Prince. So, it's okay to acknowledge that who you were in the past, you may have not been in the best light of yourself or the best light of your life. Um, Whether you knew it or not. Like, for a long time, I thought I was straight. I'm like, okay, yeah. I could sit in the house all day, drink on the weekends, pay my bills. I didn't really, after a while, I didn't really run the streets. But it was just kind of like I felt content with, like, well, there's nothing else to do. I'm not going back to college. Um, I'm not getting a job because, like, I couldn't. No, I tried a million times. But I was like, no, that's not gonna work. I thought about business ideas and stuff. Like, I just always sat there and think about where did I want to, certain parts of my life where I wanted to be at that age and compare it to where I actually was. At some point, I thought I would by now, like, be legally married, have children, and be living with a spouse and a partner, have a career, gone to college, gotten a degree. Like, I really thought I was going to have, like, this white picket fence American dream life. But that wasn't so. Like, what ended up being so was I kind of, after, like, when I hit rock bottom, one of my rock bottoms, the main one, when I hit rock bottom, it wasn't until I was coming out of that, like, and it happened so fast. Like, it happened within a year. I hit rock bottom, and I was down for like 6 months, and then next thing you know, there was a flyer about writing um, your a book and publishing it in the community. So I was like, oh, okay. I thought it was a scam. I thought it was a scam. So I called it and emailed it and everything, and I got set over the interview, and I was like, oh shit, this is real. And they called me back, let me into the program. I wrote my first book, but I still didn't change. But what came out of that hitting rock bottom is when I was in the rock bottom, I'm like, I was literally going in circles. They call it kind of like mania. I was really going in circles with myself. Like, what am I gonna do? I don't have any kids. I don't have a husband. I don't have a job. I didn't go to school. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And at this time, I was probably like 17, 18, 19, 20. I wasn't even 20 yet. And joining this program that helped me write my book originally the first time was pretty inspiring because I didn't expect that from myself. I wasn't even ready to write the book. I was just happy that I had a job and something to look forward to every week, and it was really good for my mental health because it wasn't stressful and it was very fun. Hi, Baba Yaga. So, I really enjoyed like that process of, but it was so messed up because even in the same time in that mania, I was listening to some spiritual lectures, and they were saying in order for the universe to, first of all, the first part of that is, and I should probably do a sermon on this. The first part of that is um when you pray, the universe shifts. When you meditate, the universe shifts. When you put like mental intent, so when you're talking negative to yourself, saying, oh, I'm stupid, oh, I'm a bad person, oh, I'm ugly, oh, I'm not talented, when you say those things to yourself, you're shifting the universe to manifest those type of thoughts, behaviors, and things in your life. Lack. You're manifesting lack. When you pray, it shifts the universe. So the next point was when when you ask God for something to make a change, or the universe. I just say the universe because everybody can relate that we live in a universe, no matter what you believe in. You don't have to believe in the stars, but there's an energy greater than yourself that's like, it's not just you doing this. It's not just the people around you and you doing this. Like, there's actual energies here that are moving things in favor of us all. And so when the universe shifts, like, or when the God comes in and intervenes, they call it divine intervention. And you can, when divine intervention happens, the universe shifts and he has to turn soil over. That's what he was saying. The spiritual lecture, he was saying God has to sometimes remove everything out of your life in order to make room for the new ones. We hear these in cheesy quotes on Facebook all the time. Excuse me, but they have some truths to them. Like, one of the things, like, for example, you've been praying for God to buy a house for you and your family, or you've been praying to the universe, or you've been hoping and wishing and wanting to be a homeowner because you think it would be better for you, your family, your kids, your lifestyle, your personal growth to be a homeowner. Cool. Right now you're living in a apartment. Who cares? It's 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 5 bedroom. It's run down as order, but it's not a home. It's just an apartment that you rent. Then all of a sudden, you get evicted. Maybe not to fault of your own. It could have been you could have been getting evicted because the city found out that the place you were living was not up to code. You have to move, or you could even like have to leave and relocate because your kid's school and you want them to be in a certain school zone, and it can be anything. So basically you have to leave where you're at. And some people who are not in tune, or when we're not in tune, we'll look at the situation like, oh my gosh, I want to buy a home and I want to be a homeowner and this is why. And now I have to leave and me and my kids or me and my family are going to be homeless, or we're not going to have a place to go because we have to leave here, and where are we going to go? And I can't buy a house right now. But think about this part. How was you going to own a home if you were in an apartment? So that's what it goes back to my sermon, a messing up into a blessing up. Because in order for you, so you go through this process, you leaving someplace that you were living, you wanted to leave there to move into a house. However, you may have ended up in a shelter, or you may have ended up residing with other friends and families, couch surfing, or living out of your car for some people, anything like that. And out of nowhere, you probably get an opportunity. You might meet a real estate agent that tells you you can take a home owners or home buyers course for free in your community or for a discount rate, so that you can eventually in goals of purchasing a home. But how was you going to make that connection if you was already living up in something? Like, sometimes I'll use a personal experience. Sometimes I feel like the universe be like, hi viewer. Sometimes it feels like the universe be like, oh, in order for you to find your soulmate or to be with the one, the ultimate one being, because I am openly polyamorous, so I love multiple people. I'm in love with multiple people. So, but I do see myself being in a committed, monogamous relationship with one person in my future. However, it's not time for that yet. So, in order for that to happen, how is that going to happen if I keep entertaining these situationships or I have false attachments to these situationships? And I use the word false attachments because, like one of my colleagues was saying, she had said that sometimes you could pray for something and the devil can, or an evil force or an unhealthy force or a toxic entity can bring you exactly what you're looking for, but it's from a toxic source. Only part about that is that all spiritual energy, light, dark, good, bad, evil, good, however you want to look at it, all spiritual energy comes from the same source. Just filters. Once it comes through that source, it filters differently, and then we compile these things as humans. It's our way of looking at it, but nothing's really like good, bad, black or white. We have to look at the world as completely balanced. Yes, duality does exist, but you have to look at the duality as a perfect balance. Can't have one without the other. Shadows here. So there's no way I was going to be able to make room for my career, for example, if I was entertaining foolishness in my free time. Like, when I used to get bored, and I'm going to get a little intimate here, when I used to get bored back in the day before I became productive or proactive in my life, I would just hang out with people who had no good intention for me. They would steal from my house. They would use up all my resources like my food and my energy, my time, my TV, my electricity. But I wanted something to do. And I thought that in order for me to have something to do, I had to hang out with people. And that was like a personal disconnect within myself. Like, the personal disconnect within myself was like, the reason why you haven't done any at that time, the reason why I wasn't progressing was because the time that I could have been spent shaping and being proactive in my reality, in my life, and getting things done and doing something positive and working in the community, I would just call up people like, hey, you want to chill? You want to smoke some weed? Like, there was really nothing else to do because at that time I felt like in my mind that I have tried everything to be one of these stand up positive good people, and everywhere I turned it seemed like it seemed like I was being held back by drama. Like, if I went, even from my childhood, if I went to summer camp, I had trouble making friends. Like, I make friends for like 2 days, and then by the third or fourth day, they're like, you were talking about so and so, and they wanted to fight, and it's like, so then obviously you can't. And then after you fight with the person, if you win the fight, then they want to be friends with you. It's like so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. So there was a part where it's like, I knew how to go up to somebody and be like, hi, my name is Ziona, and I want to be your friend. You know how when you're a kid, you're like, I want to be your friend. What's your name? And what's your favorite color? And all that stuff that you do when you're young. So, going through that, it was just kind of like the friends that I did have, like, they all weren't negative, but we just always on the same page. And growing up, I would try to do stuff like go to a dance group, had problems there. Do martial arts. That was a good experience. Music group, had trouble there. Like, it was just like every time I tried to build myself up in the community in some way, it was just kind of like I was let down. But in some senses, I had let myself down because of my preconceived notions of negative self, like with negative self-talk, like telling myself, oh, nobody's gonna want to be your friend, and your clothes are too raggedy, or your hair is never done. Nobody's gonna want to hang out with you or take you serious, or your jokes are too corny, you're gonna offend somebody. And so I went through that, and then I had to start going to myself like, well, why don't I just do stuff like it started off. I don't know if I told you guys this story, but it started off by like I was already active in my recovery, but I didn't. I have taken a training. I have written my 2 or 3 books. I don't remember at this time, but I was already like taking steps into my recovery and stuff at this time, and I was just like, I had isolated like away from dating and making real friends. Like, if I was seeing somebody, it was somebody I've already been seeing for like years anyway. So I didn't want to date no new people. I still don't want to date no new people, to be honest with you. But I just wanted to start a book club or something, or book projects or something. I just started writing my story over and over again, like different versions of my story, Like I just started just doing stuff, and then all of a sudden all these doors opened up and opportunities opened up for me to do more things. And then I found a new community that was more fitting for me, that I felt comfortable and safe, and I'm still in that community and I feel great about it. There is no however. I know somebody was probably like, she's gonna be like, well, however. No, no, however. I'm content with my reality. So, for example, somebody just called me and they've been on punishment along with some other people, but it's not like they intentionally on punish. They just on punishment. It's just the fact that, okay, well, I told everybody I'm gonna be extremely busy this summer and I don't have time to get taken away from something that I could be doing for myself by helping somebody else do something they need to do. And then I come home and I'm tired and I don't have any energy to do the things that I want to get done. So I had to like put people in timeout. Like, one, don't take it personal. It's not your fault. But two, don't expect me to be as available as I was when I did care. Because I still care, but it's like I have to care about myself more. Like I can't sit here and help this person with their business plan, help this person with their book, help this person with their music, help this person with, whatever I'm helping them with when I got my own book, I got my own business, I got my own stuff that I'm working on. It was getting taxing, and it was just like, I think a lot of that was due to COVID in a sense. And the reason why I say that is because before COVID happened, I was working on my 8 dimensions of wellness. I was working on my social life and my relationships with others. And COVID kind of put a damper on that, so I kind of resorted back to slightly I slightly resorted back to my old habits of like calling people because I'm bored to hang out with. And sometimes those could be unhealthy. Like, not like the relationship is unhealthy, but it's just sometimes I have to tell myself that everybody doesn't have the same expertise or the same communication skills or the same maturity level or the same common interests as you, as myself. I'm learning that the hard way. Like, just because, see, before I got into my recovery, I knew there was something wrong with me. I didn't understand what per se. Like, I knew there was something wrong with me, and I felt like everybody else around me was so normal. So when I got into my recovery and I started doing the work and practicing and training and taking these courses and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. I can be normal now. No, that is not, that is not what happened. It wasn't, oh yeah, I can be normal now because everybody else, this is the key I've been missing, is how to communicate effectively and how to learn how to listen and how to learn how to express myself appropriately like everybody else. Just to go through all of that training and I'm still the only one. Like, sometimes I be sitting there listening to people like come for me. Like, oh, and that's just a kind of like a slang word. Let me sitting there watching people with, like, listen to people really come for me. Like, oh, you wasn't gonna do this and this and that and this, and it's kind of like, you could have said that to me in a better way. Or they don't listen and they want to scream at the top of their lungs, like I was talking about a couple weeks ago, stuff like that. Like, and I'm like, what is the disconnect? And I'm like, these people don't have these trainings. People don't take communication training, listening skills training. They don't work on their own personal demons. They want to act like they're the only person in the world that shit happens to them, or that nothing could be bothering you, and you're the issue. You're the issue, and they're not. And it can go both ways. I say this all the time. Like, with some people, I could be the worst person in the world, and for other people, I could be the best person in the world. Just like you could be the best person in the world to some people, and some people you're the worst person in the world. It's fair. It's relative. That's why it's important to try not to judge, because half the time when we're judging something or someone, it's not even valid. It's relative. That's your perspective and your perception of that person in that circumstance. It's not the truth. You know? Look at my baby sleeping next to me. I love Shadow. He's so sweet. Yeah, but I'm gonna keep this brief. So I started my Instagram, opened it up again. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect from Instagram. Really, I call it Insta Thought because I'm not a nice person. No, but I call it Insta Thought because a lot of the time, a lot of the stories that I hear about Instagram and from my experience of being on it before, it's kind of just like a fashion show, or for lack of a better word, like a fashion show. Like it's all about who got this. Like it's worse than Facebook. Like Facebook, you can like clearly write messages, you can take pictures, you can post videos, you can share things. And on Instagram, it just seems like a bunch of pictures. Like I was looking for a way to post like a status on Instagram, for example. I was gonna post a status, kind of like, oh, don't laugh at me because I don't know how to work Instagram. That's not funny. So it really isn't. So I thought I was gonna be able to post something to say, hey, I'm back on Instagram, y'all. Like, look forward to some content coming soon. I feel like an idiot explaining this. And I'm clicking around, and they was not giving me no option to post like words. They wasn't even really giving me an option to post pictures, but I was on my laptop and not on my phone. So Instagram has always been like that. It's just better on your phone than it is on the desktop, the Chromebook, the laptop, PC, or whatever. For years, actually, when it first came out, it really wasn't. You really couldn't use it on your computer. You had to use it on a phone. So I'm sitting there clicking around, clicking around. I cannot find how to post a message on there or even post a picture, but I'll learn. It's all a learning experience. Another thing I wanted to leave us with was that shadow is in my back and it hurts. So, another thing is that kind of like baby steps still get us places, but let's try not to let's try not to like act as if people can't or don't or won't change or grow. It takes time. Everybody's different. Everybody moves at their own space. Support people in whatever they be in. You don't have to agree with it. Like, I have somebody that I care about, and they live a certain type of lifestyle, and it's not like, oh, I need them to change, I want them to change. It's like I want them to be the best part of themselves that they can be, and I want them to enjoy themselves in this life. I want them to enjoy their journey. I don't want them to think I'm here to change them. I may not agree with it. I may not live my life like that. I would not probably base my morals and my values on that. However, they they are comfortable and content with doing that. I'm not gonna say, oh, doing that toxic this, or because that's what I mean by it's a perspective. It's not toxic to them because it's not hurting them. It's just toxic in the way of society norms. But because I care about the person, if that's the life they want to live, I'm going to let them live that life. I'm going to let them learn, fall, and pick themselves back. Or, I'll be there to help them pick themselves back up. Let them learn the hard way. But it's not always about learning the hard way. It's just sometimes you learn at your own pace. Like, I went through the same lessons over and over, and I'm still going through some of those same lessons over and over again before I can get out of that cycle and that pattern. Like I really am glad of my growth, but I just know I'm gonna be such a different person 10 years from now. And what is, some people like to say, "Oh, you a sellout," or "You think you better now," or "You think you know everything." Like all these dismissive type of ways of instead of supporting the person and be like, "Oh, I'm glad that you enjoy what you do. I'm glad you're enjoying your journey, your life." Like, and if you can't even pretend to be genuinely supportive of the person, just remove yourself out of the equation. There's no reason to stick around. But people will be people. We will sit around here and be like, "Oh, how you doing?" Just to go back to the next person and say, "Oh, I spoke to so and so, and this is what they were saying and doing." And that's tacky and that's lame and that's corny. It's like it's not about that. There's other stuff going on, in life, in society, on this journey that we have to be mindful of. Everybody can't take the same steps that we take to get things done in this life. Everybody's here to do it their way, the way they have to do it. So that person's gonna get high. They're gonna keep getting high, and there's nothing I can do about it, but support them to know there's something they can do about it. How about that? There's something they can do about it when they're ready. For now, I just want them to be safe. I want them to enjoy their journey and embrace their lessons that they need to learn in order to move forward and to get out of that pattern, that vicious cycle, that vicious pattern of toxicity. Yeah, but I feel like, yeah, I came a long way from hitting the after hours. They call them after hour parties, house parties. I came a long way from that. I came a long way from screaming at the top of my lungs at people. I've come a long way um, from just sitting in the house and laying in the bed all day, and came a long way from like not spending time with my family as much as I would like to. Came a long way how with building healthy connections with people. And I'm saying this like this because some people, I think some of us need to realize when we have made a major change and adjustment in our life. That's what they mean when they say step back and smell the roses, or take a break and smell the roses, smell the coffee. Because sometimes we want to change so bad that we want it to change quickly, and we don't realize the progress that we have made, the fact that we made um, an awareness to ourselves to change these things about us or enhance these parts about us. The fact that we did that is a big progressive step. Some people, they learn it in long term. Some of us get it sooner. Some of us understand it later on. I think I was a little late, but I'm glad I learned things. I kind of knew that my life would be in slow motion. Like, we're not gonna go there, but um, I knew my life was gonna be in kind of slow pace, but I just didn't know what I was gonna end up doing. I didn't know what it was gonna be. I didn't know. I still don't know what else is to come per se. I just know I want to try to have intent. I practice the art of not trying because I don't want to try to do anything, because that could be fair as well. Because not trying because I'm afraid I would fail, because it would probably manipulate the energy um, to be not in my favor. If I intensively try to do things, and it's not that I want or don't want. That has nothing to do with me about the art of not trying. Want and don't want and need is kind of like the universe is going to put you through certain channels in your life, certain pathways in your life to get you to where you need to be. And when you need to be is where you are when you're happy. When you're happy and content and comfortable and enjoying yourself and you can be yourself and be free to yourself, that's that's where the universe is trying to get you. You may think that that looks like being an astronaut because that's your dream career. You want to be an astronaut since you were like 5 years old. And you may think that's it. But then the universe ends up, and on your way to being an astronaut, the universe takes you on a different path. And when you go on this different path, the you could be learning about engineering because that's one thing you have to learn before you can become an astronaut and pilot a rocket and go to outer space. You have to know about engineering, certain sciences, and logistics and things like that. And you may find out that you are happiest when you're building things as an engineer and tweaking things and making things better. And it wasn't about you becoming an astronaut, it was about you becoming an engineer on your way to becoming an astronaut. And you may be at that point like, oh, I'm so happy with my position at work. I'm proud of the work that I do. I'm proud of the support that I have. You know, I'm content. Doesn't mean you have to quit to being an astronaut, but what I'm saying is the universe is not gonna put you in no position that you don't need to be. It's your perspective that's gonna tell you, oh, I don't need to be doing this, and this doesn't pertain to life, or this isn't gonna have anything to do with me being an astronaut and stuff. And that's when you get all these roadblocks because you're blocking the process. You're stopping the process from happening by nitpicking at every little moment about, you know, what how you're getting to where you're going. You're going to get there how you're going to get there, and you'll be surprised that it may not be what you thought it was going to be, but it feels better and it's damn near close, and it's probably a lot greater in a reality because it's a better fit for you. My son is laying next to me. He's so squishy. All right, so I'm gonna close that out for now. Um, Definitely look forward to checking with you all again. Just wanted to update um, everyone on where I've been on my social media break, and I miss you all. And there'll be some more content coming soon. Like my cousin told me, I'm gonna keep checking off those goals and getting things done and staying healthy and monitoring myself and staying sucker free. Yeah, I'm gonna stay sucker free. And yeah, I hope you do too. You are loved. Ciao.